Today we're looking at Naval Strike. What you're watching right now is some brand new exclusive footage of the Naval Strike DLC. This is on the map Wavebreaker, and later on in this video I'll be showing you some footage of Nancha Strike as well. EA were kind enough to invite me once again down to their headquarters in Guildford to play the Naval Strike DLC, along with a couple of other YouTubers, Jack Frags, Matt the Musketeer, Wintergore, Vicstar. Sadly, Charboy and Azzy couldn't make it because Charboy forgot his passport, which was a little bit funny and quite sad at the same time. Would have been nice to see him there, but all over, it was a really good event and we had a really good time playing this DLC. If you've been looking forward to it, then you're in for a treat. So as I said previously, the map that we're looking at right now is Wavebreaker. Now this is the map with the submarine base on it, so I thought first of all I'd show you some footage of that submarine base. And this is where the Levolution takes place on this map. Now, it's very subtle and it doesn't massively change the gameplay. And actually on Team Deathmatch and Domination, which take place inside this submarine base, the Levolution has already occurred, so that was a little bit disappointing. But this is the section of close quarters in Naval Strike, and I think this is perhaps the best area to show you the infantry combat that will be available. As well as the close quarters infantry combat here, you can control the submarine base with a set of floodgates. Now they're manually operated by the central consoles in the island part in the middle of the submarine base. And if you want to hold the objective, I suggest you keep control of those doors, because it stops the attack boats getting in. And when they get into the submarine base, it does turn into a little bit of a clusterfuck, but it can be really enjoyable. Once you come out of the submarine base, there's not a huge amount to see, to be perfectly honest. The submarine base is pretty much the focal point of the map. It very much reminds me of the Caspian Border Tower or the Hilltop flag, and sort of Altai Range from China Rising, where the weather station is just the central focus of all the gameplay. I can't really think of any other times when I was playing on this map where the naval combat outside was used to its full extent. I mean, we were only playing sort of 12v12, 16v16, so we weren't sort of playing with a massive player count, and I imagine with sort of 32 players on each team that the naval combat will be a lot bigger, and areas outside will probably get used, but I still think the main focal point is probably going to be inside that sub-base. Just very briefly, I'd like to touch on the Carrier Assault game mode that will be included in this DLC. I was really happy playing it. It's a really good game mode. For those of you that don't know, it is a mimic of the Titan mode from 2142, and in Battlefield 4 that translates into a mixture of Conquest and Rush, where you have to obtain the flag points on the mainland or away from the Titans, and then they will fire massive missiles at the enemy carrier. Once they've got down to a certain health, that will blow a massive hole in the side and allow you to enter, where you have to blow up 2 MCOMs to win the game. In Carrier Assault mode, there's a nice balance between the Conquest and the Rush, and there's no emphasis on either part. Obviously you have to collect the Conquest flags in order to fire the rockets at the enemy carrier, but once you get in and it turns into that Rush style game mode, you don't have to stay inside the carrier and protect your own. You can still go out and take those Conquest flags and try and get into the enemy's carrier as well. And to be honest, this isn't going to be a throwaway game mode. For people that like Titan mode in 2142, you're going to absolutely love Carrier Assault. And if you like Rush and Conquest in Battlefield 4, then you're definitely going to enjoy this game mode as well. I highly recommend that you try it when Naval Strike drops for you. Moving on to the second map that I want to show you in this video, we're looking at Nancha Strike. Now this for me, probably today, was probably the worst map of the DLC. And when I say worst, I don't mean worst, it just didn't jump out at me like the other maps did. And I have to say, it just wasn't as enjoyable. That doesn't mean it doesn't have some good aspects though. There's sort of a split between the gameplay here. There's a lot of infantry combat that focuses in the middle, and a lot of the naval combat goes along on the outside. It's quite similar to Wavebreaker in a way. The reason that this split in gameplay is good, because the DLC is mainly focused on naval combat, this is another area that allows for infantry combat. I believe there are no ground vehicles on this map either, so the central part is essentially a safe haven for sort of foot soldiers. I believe that attack boats and hovercrafts can't get in underneath the wooden bridges that barricade the way. The only ones that can get in are the rib boats and the jet skis, so you do have to watch out for the rib boat's 50 cal machine gun or the minigun that's on there, but really it's sort of a safe haven and you can run around and have those infantry style combat that you like to play. On this map though, you see the wave physics that we noticed in Paracel Storm really start to kick in. There's a lot of wide open naval space out there. And the waves aren't as big as on Paracel Storm, but they still play a major role. It does block your vision from time to time and it can give you the cover that you need, especially if you're playing in those attack boats. Now the hovercrafts don't have any weapons whatsoever. You can only carry one person in it, but its advantage is it can get over land, which means those barricades, those wooden bridges that I was talking about, can be breached. But when we were playing today, a lot of people seemed to be sticking to the water in their hovercraft, and subconsciously I don't think they were going on the land because they thought it wouldn't work. I can assure you that the hovercrafts work really well on land, and actually going uphill, you're not falling back down either. For some reason it just flies up the hill. Might need a little bit of a nerf, but it was still really fun to try out. But anyway, that's the end of this video today, guys. I do have another one for you coming up later on today showing Operation Mortar and Lost Island, so make sure you stay tuned for that. But make sure you hit like on this video, guys, if you did enjoy it, and leave all your comments down below. But until next time, my name is Westy, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.